Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and we are broadcasting from inside Renaissance Bank in Alpharetta. And if you're looking for a bank that is big enough to handle pretty much any need you can throw at them as a small business, but you're looking for a bank that can do it in a personal way, that delivers personal service. That's a magic combination that I have found at Renaissance Bank, and my clients have too. So if that's a situation that you're looking for, if you need a better banking experience than what you're currently getting for your business, go to renaissancebank.com and find one of their local offices and get in touch. And I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to welcome Riah Greathouse. He is the founder of Greathouse Trial Law. Riah, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Let's talk a little bit about you and Greathouse Trial Law. How are you serving folks out there?
Sure. So we specialize in personal injury and wrongful death. I'm a native Atlantan and went off to college at Hampton, Virginia, law school down in Houston, Texas, and always knew I wanted to come back home, back to this wonderful city that we have. My family's here, my friends are here, my roots are here, obviously. And I wanted to jump in and serve my community. And the first half of my career, I've been practicing for now, I started in 2010. So I've got a few years under my belt now. The first part of my career, I was a prosecutor at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, where I proudly served my community. I prosecuted many violent felony crimes, spent countless hours in the courtroom, and then I got married and said, hey, while this is great, I need to make a little more money, right? While the public service route is great and much needed, obviously, it is not not something to help you get rich by any means. Yeah. And I wanted to do something obviously that would be meaningful with my career, but however, gain a little more money for my family. And personal injury was the natural route. And from there, from the DA's office, I joined a nationally recognized plaintiff's firm and was there for about a year, and really realized, man, I can do this on my own, and not just do it on my own, but really start to build a team that could be impactful. And that's what we've done at Greathouse Trial Law. I'm really proud of the results that our attorneys and our amazing staff that they've been able to do over the last few years. The last time I've counted, we've recovered north of $50 million on behalf of injured victims, and it's still going. In 2020, we actually won the award, the Law Firm 500, as the fastest growing small law firm in the entire nation.
Wow.
And we're growing, and that's something that I'm extremely proud of. Every single client that has entrusted us to represent them, I'm truly grateful, and I look forward to being a staple in this community and servicing many more for years to come.
That's awesome. What a great story. Let's talk about a little bit of that history. What did you learn out of your experience in the prosecutor's office that you bring forward to today's work?
Tenacity. Here's the thing that a lot of people got to understand, especially when it comes to personal injury and the way it works. Of course, people say, well, why are there so many lawyers? Well, unfortunately, there's so many lawyers because the insurance companies aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And there's a need for lawyers because if they did what they're supposed to do, then you wouldn't need us.
Right.
And one of the things that I learned how to do and was trained to do was that relentless fight for justice. And that's something that we do. When we come across a corporation or insurance company, we know that we've got to bring it, and we're ready to bring it. And we have the track record of doing so. And there are so many attorneys out there who are just looking to settle. They want to get the second offer, and they're going to convince you, oh, let's take it. This is all you're going to get. And insurance companies don't respect those lawyers. And there are so many that you see on TV, you see the billboards, you hear them on radio, where they become a mill. They just want to get you in, get you out.
I'm shocked to hear that.
and we're not that firm. We want to maximize every single case that we have, and we have a track record of doing so. Yeah. And that's what I learned in the DA's office was fighting. You can't just roll over when you've got some danger to the community and you say, well, he wants a trial, so never mind. Maybe I'll just let him go home. Right. You gotta stick to your evidence, and you gotta slug it out in the courtroom. And that's how I was trained. And that's the way my team operates now.
You're hitting on a really important point. It seems to me, Riah, and that is that the bigger firms, this is my understanding, you correct me if I'm wrong, the bigger firms are really apt to settle quicker just because they've got volume.
Correct.
And they work off volume with a lower settlement.
Yep. And
whereas you don't have that pressure to keep the factory moving, as it were.
Correct. I'm not going to badmouth all the firms, but sure. It's
just a different business model.
Let's say if you want a steak, are you going to go to McDonald's or are you going to go to a nice steakhouse where they're not about the volume? They can take the time to season it right and, sear it to the right temperature and so forth. It's the same thing in this world. Do you want to go where you're just one of thousands of clients where it's not going to make them money to sit and work up your case and maximize it? They're going to get to a point where they say, look, it makes us more money. The faster we get you in and out, then we save on that overhead, and it's all about the profit margin, right? So that's one of the things that I think we give an advantage, where we're not so small that the insurance companies don't know who we are, but we're not too big to where you're just a number.
Folks, we're chatting with Riah Greathouse. He is the founder, CEO of Greathouse Trial Law. So what talk about are there certain specialties that you have in personal injury? I think most people, when they think personal injury law, they think of automobile accident, right?
Sure.
But are you kind of across the board on this, like workplace claim, or what? Talk about the areas you represent.
Sure. So workplace claims are separate from personal injury. That's workers' compensation, and it is different.
Okay.
While that's not our primary area, we do partner with other firms in making sure that if we do have someone to contact us, or we do have a client who has that issue with it, we can make sure that they are helped. But that is not our specialty. And that's, brings me to the point of why we're great at what we do, because personal injury is all we do. It's so niched and nuanced that you have to be a specialist. I always liken it to a physician. If you've got a headache, you're not going to go to a podiatrist.
Right.
If God forbid you've got cancer, you're not going to go to a dermatologist. Well, unless it's a skin cancer, but you get my point.
Sure.
In that it matters. And, we specialize in personal injury. Most of our claims are car wrecks, but we also do, accept what's called premises liability cases, the slip and falls, what's called negligent security. If an individual is injured on someone's property, violent crime, let's say you're at a gas station or an apartment complex, high crime area, they have a duty to keep you safe, to provide security measures. And when they fail to do so, there is a cause of action that we're able to sue them for.
Got it. So what is the biggest mistake or mistakes that someone makes when they have an accident and they are injured, and what should they be doing that they're not doing?
Well, I'd say the first mistake that people make is not getting checked out. And I mean medically. So you're in an accident, and you've got to realize I'm not a physicist by any means, but when you have cars traveling at such a speed, even if it's as low as 5-10 miles per hour, there can be such a mechanism for such a violent impact on your body, where oftentimes we're seeing clients don't feel the initial shock. It's not until 2-3 days, a week later, where all of a sudden it's like, well, man, I can't turn that way anymore. I can't really bend this way. So I always say the first thing is you have to go and get checked out, period. Even if you don't believe you're hurt, go get checked out.
Right.
I'd say the second most common mistake after not getting checked out is not getting a personal injury attorney to help you. And I say that because I've had a number of people to say, well, I kind of want to hire you, but I don't think I need to pay a lawyer. I think I'm going to try to handle it myself. And my response is, well, sure, it's cheaper to handle it yourself. I mean, it's also cheaper to do your own surgery, but you would never do so. And it's the same thing when it comes to going up against these companies. So I say that those are probably the two most common mistakes that we're seeing.
Yeah. Well, it could be, and this sounds like a statement, but it's a question. Could it not be that some people, they know how you get paid? You get paid off a percentage of the proceeds, right? Of the judgment, whatever that is, or settlement, whatever that is. And maybe people think, well, I've got to get all the way. I've got to sue someone and get all the way to that, or it's not. Maybe they think my claim's not big enough, right? Or something like that. And they feel like that you're not going to take them on. Is that a thinking sometimes?
Sometimes we've heard it all. People psych themselves out as to why they don't need a lawyer.
Right.
And my thing is, if at any point you think that you will deal with the insurance company, just get a lawyer to be safe. Especially the way that we work and the way most personal injury attorneys work. It doesn't cost you a dime out of pocket, even just for the consultation to see if you have a case. So I always just say, just talk to us, let us look at your case. And look, if it's something that we can't help you with, we're going to tell you.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to do the work and then not get paid for it, just candidly. So let us at least evaluate it. Let's talk through it and go through your options. And that's one of the things that I always say is the role of a good lawyer. It's not to always answer your question or make the decision for you, but it's to provide you with as many options as possible. And that's what we try to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. And to your point, people make the mistake of adjudicating the case themselves in their minds, right? Before they even decide they ought to call you, right?
Right. And it goes both ways. I mean, you also, as we talked about earlier with all we're in Atlanta, you see the billboards up and down the streets and $1 million or 500. And then people think, well, my case is worth $1 million. And it's saying, well, to get $1 million, you've got to be really hurt. The money has to be there. It has to be the type of insurance policy that actually carries that type of money. Right. And then not only that, but you have to have the injuries to prove it. So that means that you've probably got a permanent injury that you're dealing with, that you're going to be at a point where you're saying, I don't want that money. I need my health. Yeah. And that's kind of the challenge that we have, is that people, as you said, either overvalue their case or they undervalue their case. So that's why we say, look, let's come in, let's talk, so we can tell you what a realistic range is that you can expect.
And how should someone, your profession is not one where, people keep necessarily a refrigerator magnet up, right? I mean, because they're not expecting they don't plan ahead for accidents. Correct. Let's put it like that, right? So they don't know what they're going to do. Right. And so how do you judge? How do you recommend people judge a PI attorney when they don't know? Because they see all these ads, and that's something that can turn their head. Sure.
I always say, don't go for the cheesy, gimmicky jingles. I'm not a fan of them. Look, I'm not going to say that every lawyer who does it is a bad lawyer, but I think that results matter. Reputation matters. Ask around, read the reviews. That's one of the things that, you look at our website, we've got over 300 5-star reviews. That's what we're proud of it. Wow. And we're still growing. So I say that's what matters. Take time and do your research. Ask around. That's what matters.
Congratulations on 300 5-star reviews. That's fantastic. And that answer makes perfect sense. I want to switch gears just a minute, because I don't want to neglect to get to this. You are involved in an impressive amount of community activities, and you're obviously a big believer in giving back. So talk about that work.
Sure. I always say that, I am a man of faith. And I truly believe that I've been blessed. I'll tell you, I remember vividly when I was in law school, and any lawyer, anyone who's been to law school can tell you it's not a fun time. And I remember a point when I was just like, man, I don't know if this is for me. And I honestly, true story, prayed a prayer, and I made a deal with God. I said, you get me through this, bless me, and I'll bless others. And that's what's happened. I ended up, finishing at the top of my law school class, and have had a great career thus far. And I want to uphold my end of the bargain. And that's what I plan to do and will do throughout my career. So I think that it's extremely important to not just, make money and live a life of indulgence, but rather to return that to the people who have supported us. This community has been great in supporting me and my family, and I just want to turn around and do the same.
Wow. That's such a great mindset that you have. And specifically, you do some work around physically and mentally disabled children.
Yeah. So we just started a business, brand new business. It is called House of Great Care, and it is a Medicaid backed partner with the GAP program, the Georgia Pediatrics program, and it provides for in-home physical services for physically disabled kids under 21, and it's out of no cost. It's at no cost to the families. It's completely reimbursable by Medicaid, and it's something that I think is a need. The last I checked, I believe that the state said there are about 200,000 eligible families. And right now, I think there are enough providers only for about 4,000.
Oh, wow.
So I think that it's a tremendous need and something that's important. And it's something that's near and dear to my heart, as I've seen the tragedies that come from these car wrecks and these other negligent events at no fault for these innocent people. And it's just another way that I can make sure that I'm giving back.
Yeah. Wow. Such great work. So let's get back to your practice. So how do you recommend clients work with you and your firm? They call, you figure out that they have a case that you need to represent them on. They happily engage you to do that.
Correct.
How do you how should clients work with you in that process?
Okay. Well, first I'll say clients can reach us in two ways. You can find us online at atltriallaw.com, or you can give us a call, 404-599-9999. And once you've become a client of ours, the thing that we always ask is let us do our jobs. And I say that jokingly, but frankly, at the same time, we're great at what we do. So just trust us. So if we say, hey, let's make sure that you're going to your doctor, that, hey, you hit your head, let's get you to this neurologist or this specialist, whatever it may be, just listen to us. Just go and trust us on that process. And then communication. I can't tell you, there are people who will hire us and then they'll just completely just fall off the face of the earth. And then we're trying to work on their behalf, and it's like we're begging them, like, hey, we're trying to get you paid.
Right.
Where'd you go?
Right.
So I'd say that stay in communication with your lawyer, listen to your lawyer, and then let us work. This takes time. In the same time, what I mean by communication, you don't need to call us daily, because chances are it's not going to change from day to day.
Right.
And we'll let you know when there's something you need to know.
Right.
It's not always a quick process. And then one of the things that I say to further let clients know that we're in it together is that I don't get paid until you get paid. So I have every interest in resolving this for as much money as fast as possible. You often have people that say, well, my case is going on 2 years or 3 years. And say, well, unfortunately, sometimes that's what it takes. because we're not going to roll over. We're not going to take the first or second offer. And I wouldn't recommend that to you. You hired us to get the maximum result, and that's what we're going to do. And that's going to take time. And please believe, if I could snap my fingers just like that and get it done, I would, because ultimately we want to get paid too.
Well, that is I'm so glad you brought this up, because that's really an important aspect of this, right? Because the insurance company knows how you get paid. So
Correct.
They know how the attorney gets paid. They know that the client is going to want to, they like any client, they want to get their money, and right. So they use that against the client, right?
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
They drag it out,
mm-hmm.
right? What are some of the little things you catch insurance companies in doing to drag things out?
Oh, I can't tell you how many times they'll say, "Oh, well, we've got an incomplete file. It looks like we're missing a record." And you're looking at it saying, I see that I sent it. Not only did I mail it to you, but I'm looking at the email where you have it. So there'll be, little things where our head adjuster, it got reassigned. Will you give us a 30-day extension and so forth? I mean, insurance companies just don't play fair. They're just not there to do the right thing.
Bringing the truth bomb is Riah Greathouse of Greathouse Trial Law. Yeah, when I want truth bombs, I just need to call you. Well,
that's what I always say. I always tell my clients, look, you hired me to tell you what you need to know, not always what you want to know, but you hired me to tell you the truth.
Right. So, Riah, this has been a great conversation, and I really appreciate you and the work you do, and I'm just honored we were able to highlight it.
Absolutely, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so let's get to the most important question, and you gave contact information, but I want to do it again here. For those that would like to know more, would like to be in touch, tell them how they can do that.
Sure. You can find us online at atltriallaw.com. That's atltriallaw.com, or 404-599-9999.
Riah Greathouse of Greathouse Trial Law. Riah, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Hey, folks, just a quick reminder, if you've got issues in the back office of your business, issues like maybe administrative tasks that you're spending too much time on yourself, bookkeeping issues that you need to get cleared up, well, I've got a solution for you. It's Office Angels. They have a whole team of angels that have different talents, different experience, and the chief executive angel there, S.E. Escobedo, picks the best one for you, and they fly in, get the job done, and they fly out. And they do it on an ongoing or as-needed basis. If you'd like to know more, go to officeangels.us or just give S.E. a call, 770-442-9246, and let her know that we sent you. And just a big thank you to our loyal listeners. We greatly appreciate you. You've supported us now. We're up to episode number 630 or whatever this is, but we're about to celebrate 7 years of this show, and you have been with us the whole way, and we appreciate you. And one of the things that you have done consistently is share the show. And I'd ask the same for this show. If you've heard something here from Riah that makes you think, hey, I know somebody that needs to hear this message, maybe it's someone that's been in an accident, please share the show. That's how we get the word out on great business leaders like Riah and the great work that he and so many other guests that we've had on this show do. So if you could help us help them, we would appreciate that. And as we continue to fulfill our mission as the voice of business in North Fulton. So for my guest, Riah Greathouse, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.